ask, he's, one of the hottest topics online, Andrew Tate. Talk to me a little bit about, what are some of the things that you picked up, whether on or off camera from Andrew, that maybe a lot of people don't get to see when they see the flash or the hype on social media. What was your take on Andrew?
Are you close to your mom or your dad?
Probably my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, but close to both?
Yeah.
But closer to your dad?
Yes.
Okay. Out of 10 things that you know with your dad, okay, are there areas where your dad is a 0 and areas where he's a 10 and areas?
So this is Patrick Bet David being asked by an interviewer about his previous interview with Andrew Tate, the top G. Straight away, Patrick Bet David starts discussing father and son relationships with the interviewer when asked about Andrew Tate. So I'm not exactly sure where he's going with this, but PBD will have something in store. He's a great communicator. Let's see where he's going with this.
Where he's a 5S.
Sure.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can say the same thing about my mom, my dad, and a lot of different people, right? First time I interviewed Sammy the Bull Gravano, how could you interview? I mean, I cannot tell you how many emails we got and how many different families reached out to us about that interview. I mean, I can't even tell you how many. Yeah. Why are you interviewing this guy, Sammy? Do you know what he did? Do you know the 19 families? A lot of them reached out to us because of doing that interview.
Okay, he's taken a while to get to his point, but I'm sure he has a good point here. Again, he's been asked by the interviewer about Andrew Tate. He's talked about father and son relationships, and now he's talked about a gangster named Sammy the Bull. Let's see what comparison or analogy he's using here to discuss the answer.
So, Andrew Tate. How can you interview Andrew Tate when you see him do this, that? Okay. The hardest thing people, have a hard time with is for us to isolate different areas of someone's life. Meaning, I can isolate and say, this guy went from 2 years ago, nobody knowing who he is. He's the most searched guy on Google. Love him or hate him. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of people that wish they could do what he does. It's not possible. He's one of the best communicators. He's one of the best storytellers. He's one of the best, most wittiest guy that comes up with stories to tell you at the right time, to challenge, to push, to do all of that, to troll, to talk smack, to educate, to give a different perspective. He is a entertainer, a philosopher, a troller, if you want to call it that. And at the same time, a dream seller is who he is.
Sure.
Okay?
So that's a huge rap for Andrew Tate from Patrick Bet David. I'll just call him Pat or Patrick moving forward. That's a huge rap from Pat to Andrew Tate. It would be a shame if Andrew Tate is guilty of these charges because he does offer a lot, a lot of advice and a lot of philosophy and insights into life. I don't think he's always right, and he has said some stupid things. But Tate has got a lot of positive attributes as outlined by Pat. Let's see where this goes.
So you're able to isolate and say, man, this is very impressive what he's done here. This is pretty interesting what he's talking about in this area, calling out the globalists, the government, this, that. Very different perspective he gave here about marriage, about this, about that. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. That's my favorite thing about Tate, actually. And I'm not a Tate fanboy, but I'm not a hater either. That's my favorite thing about Tate is the way he was calling out the global elites, the cabal. Love that top G.
And he's empowering men to have a little bit of backbone right now, that men have become a little bit soft, a little bit of pansies.
It's true.
Yeah, some of the philosophies you probably don't agree with. Hey, Pat, do you agree with the fact that he said if you want to have a kid, go to South or Central America, get 3 girls pregnant and come back? Do you agree with that? Let's isolate that one area and ask me specifically to that. I'll give you my opinion. And then, hey, do you realize what he's going through? First of all, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. If he did what he did, the court's got to do what they got to do. Do I believe that some people can't stand what he talks about and they want to figure out a way for that to be silenced? Just a couple of days ago in UK,
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Tate, I believe, has said some silly things about being with multiple women and not being monogamous and all that sort of jazz. I don't think that's very smart. It's certainly not the acts of a gentleman or an alpha male when it comes to relationships. Definitely an alpha in business, but yeah, he has said some silly things. But like Pat says, isolate the issue, ask opinions on certain topics.
Prime Minister has to sit up and answer in the Parliament about Andrew Tate in UK. The fact that a woman is saying, we are working so hard to work back all these years of progress we made with boys. What progress with young boys? You know, these young boys are becoming pansies. You call that progress to get them to be sissies? That's progress to you? That's not progress. But to get into that conversation where they're now fearing him, we have to do a better job, or we need more money, or we're giving $2 billion to work with the social media companies to do a better.
It's true. That's why Tate has such a big following, such a big fan club, a lot of fanboys. Because men, to a degree, have become soft. I might get a lot of hate mail for saying that, but a lot of men have become soft and submissive in life and forgotten how to be a real man. And Tate kind of inspired that in men again and kind of brought that out of them again. So that there's nothing toxic about masculinity, about real masculinity, because real masculinity is being good to your family, good to your woman, being a gentleman, but don't be a doormat. And I think that's what he's discussing here when it comes to Tate, that Tate is teaching men, hey, it's okay to be a man. I'm not saying Tate's perfect by any means, and he's got his flaws, but he is bringing out the masculinity again in men to a degree.
Better job. Yeah, so is he making some points that he's scaring the crap out of some people? Yes. Are there some young boys that are taking it and saying certain things to young girls in schools and they're acting like idiots? Is that happening? I 100% believe it's happening. But you know what's confusing to me? Nobody criticizes Little Nas X coming down and, you know, giving a lap dance to the devil. That's cool with you? Okay. Hey, nobody says forget about body count, Cardi B. You're okay with that? All right, cool. That's your values and principles.
Rappers, hip hop, or whatever.
You know, hey, listen, Tupac. What's Tupac's one of his, the song that cost him his life? That's one of the top workout songs for some guys that like him. That's why you fat mother. What song is that? Hit 'em up.
Yeah.
Did you say anything
That's a
about that?
crazy song.
You know, it goes back to kind of like the song when Bone Thugs and Harmony did, where they used that preacher's line.
Yeah, a lot of entertainers and singers are performing rituals, actual satanic rituals on stage at their concerts. Teenagers and young people are going to these concerts, and a lot of these entertainers and musicians are performing real-life satanic rituals on stage, and it's not getting discussed, it's not getting caught out, it's not in the spotlight, nobody's frowning upon it, no one's throwing those singers under a bus. It's insane. And that's what Pat's discussing, so good on him. Snaps to Pat.
Where he says, we're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those thugs. And the song was, it's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. It was by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Beautiful thing that they used, and it took off. It was a great album.
I don't know that
More
one.
Murder, all this other stuff. But how come we don't talk about those things? How come we don't talk about the current rap on how they label women and these music videos? By the way, I'm not telling you to do anything to it. So I'm not one that's saying, let's eliminate all these tapes. Let's eliminate all these CDs. Let's eliminate all these. I'm not telling you that.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with that, and all of
Rap's
those
always been like that.
movies and cartoons and bullshit stuff that you're trying to groom kids with,
That's disgusting.
you worry Tate, what he's
Rap
saying.
music is fun.
No, so the challenge I have is the level of hypocrisy and contradiction where if you are presenting your argument and you're okay with Little Nas X.
Patrick loves Tate. He does love Tate. I think he sees himself in Tate to a degree. That level of success that Tate has had in such a short time really resonates with Pat. Pat's had a lot of success in his life. I think he sold his insurance company, or most of it, for $200 million. You can fact check me on that. I think he still may own part of it, but he's been very successful and absolutely looks up to Tate as another successful guy. Like, I think he sees himself a lot in Tate and really warms to him. So Pat will be crossing his fingers that the top G is innocent. Let me tell you.
You should be okay with Tate because he's the complete opposite side. Right. If you're okay with Cardi B, you should be okay with Tate. Mm-hmm. If you're okay with all these things, or the part I will respect if they say, we want to ban Little Nas X and we want to ban Tate. Well, then you have a little bit more credibility. Influence, yeah. Not saying it's true, not saying it's the right thing to do, but now you have the right to say, fine, I can entertain that idea because you have some kind of logic behind it. But the current argument that the opposition of Tate is creating, Again, let's isolate if he committed crime. I'm not.
There's no logic when it comes to cancel culture. There's just no logic when it comes to cancel culture. A lot of that cancel culture type stuff is coming from the American left, the extreme left in America, where they just want to shut people down who they disagree with, who they emotionally, get emotionally angry with, rather than just using facts and logic and reason. So there's no logic on the left.
I haven't spent, the most time I've spent with them is 8 hours. So I don't know. When I had my experience with Tristan, I like Tristan a lot. To me, I have 2 sons. I would love to see the loyalty of my 2 sons be the way that these 2 are and how much fun they have with each other. They want to be around each other. How many fathers raise boys and they don't want to be around each other? How many parents raise kids and siblings don't want to be around each other? I don't know what this father taught these 2 guys, but these 2 brothers look at each other like they're inseparable. The way they defend each other. You telling me you wouldn't want your sons to be that close to each other? Set the other stuff aside. Would you want your boys to be that close to each other? I think so. So,
yeah, on that note, Patrick is spot on. I mean, if you have 2 sons, if you're lucky enough to be blessed with 2 sons or more, to have that kind of bond that Tristan and Andrew Tate have, that unbreakable, that unbreachable bond, that would just be magic. They just stick by each other's side, through everything. And look, hopefully Tristan and Andrew are innocent. If they're guilty of what's been accused, then they will serve a lot of time in jail, and rightly so. If they are innocent, I'm sure Patrick Bet David will be a very happy man. But he speaks to their bond, their brotherhood, how proud you would be as a father if they were your sons, to have that kind of bond where they stick together. So it'd be a good day for everyone if they get found innocent and get released. Thank you for tuning in to Patriot Down Under. And if you haven't subscribed yet to Patrick Bet David, go find him on YouTube. I'm a big fan of his. Subscribe. He's a great podcaster. And if you like my content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to Patriot Down Under once again, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.